quisimos entrevistar mucho.
Footman, David Footman.
Las oficinas de Electronic Arts.
Efectivamente, estamos en la oficina de Electronic Arts, al norte de la Ciudad de México.
Amigos de Render, aquí me encuentro con David Footman, Cinematics Director de Need for Speed, en este caso Need for Speed Undercover. David, how are you?
Nice. Nice to meet you.
Welcome to Mexico.
I'm very well. It's my first time hanging around in Mexico City, so it's beautiful. I love it.
Awesome. Well, first of all, you have like a big resume. You come from the movie world. You are making, well, you have directed some scenes from video games. What can you tell us about the I don't know, the process of making the cinematics in the video games?
It's very similar to working on a set. In the cinematics in video games, we get animators to animate our sequences for us, and I get all of our cameramen to shoot coverage for that. So we'll shoot coverage of the car, and coverage just means shots or takes. So we'll group a whole bunch of series of great action shots of the cars, and we'll take those into an edit facility and edit them together, and then export that back to the game to get an action sequence, which is the same if you were doing a car action sequence on a movie. You would take the car out, and you'd set up camera configurations, and you'd shoot the car over and over again from different angles. What's so great about video games is we have incredibly powerful tools to move cameras, animate cameras, incredibly powerful tools to animate the cars, so we can do incredible action sequences that would have taken a Hollywood movie months and months and months to do. We can do fairly quickly in the game, and we use a lot of Hollywood kind of action movies like The Matrix and like To Live and Die in LA and other great car action sequences to model our car chases from. But the tools we have in terms of car mounts and aerial shots like helicopter tracking shots, we can do these fairly easily using our game engine. Our game engine, we use a system called ICE, and it stands for In-Game Cinematic Engine. So it allows us to set any camera using like a keyframe system. We can move the camera in time and space. We can change the focus, the pan, tilt, depth of field, motion blur. All the controls you'd have on a film set we have in our game engine. So we're able to make our cinematics look ultra real and ultra action oriented.
Oh no! Whoa! Talking about the thing about the movies and the video games, what are the major difference between working in a movie and in a video game, cinematically speaking?
I would say the big difference is in a video game, we all work for gameplay, and everything does revolve and should revolve around the gameplay experience. So, as a cinematic director, what we're doing is we're presenting each gameplay feature. So in Need for Speed, say Undercover, if we're presenting a highway battle, it's a very cinematic, very kind of action-oriented kind of movie car chase. So we use ultra stylized cameras, very heroic angles of the cars, and really engaging music to try to set the tone before the sequence, before the highway battle happens. And so everything we do is about presenting that gameplay. Whereas in the film industry, you've got a narrative, and you've got 2 or 3 hours of a story to follow through. And all of our stories in video games are punctuated by gameplay. So what we have to have is channels of story. So story has to happen in the video game, in what you're doing in the video game. Story has to happen in the audio, in the voiceovers that you hear, and it also has to happen in the cutscenes. But it all needs to work together properly to support the gameplay experience, which is something we all kind of work towards.
Woohoo! You won.
Yeah, he was easy.
You have told us that, well, with the video games, it's easier to make all the effects and all the cameras and all that. But creatively speaking, do you think that the engines, well, the consoles or whatever, limitate you in some way or another?
No. I find, well, they do limit you in some ways in that if you're going for realism and if you're going for, organic, real cameras, you have to kind of add the mistakes. You have to add the organicness. You have to add that human kind of perspective that you'd have if you were really shooting it. But in terms of what you can do almost anything. I mean, which I think is part of the problem in cinematics and video games, because people don't constrict themselves. They don't constrain what they're going to do with the camera, right? So what you lose is like a concise kind of a language that you have in camera movement and in cinematics. You have to constrain that, to get sort of a direction in the cinematics. If you're using lots of mounts and high shots, and you're going into point of views, and you're mixing up all your cameras, you're getting kind of like a collage, which isn't really defining the experience. So I think that one of the biggest challenges is finding what the visual look you're going to go for, finding your camera style and your motif. And we have so many different people shooting cameras. We have to tell everybody, this is how we're shooting this year. This is the style of shooting. This is the kind of cutting we're going to do. And you have to limit all these incredible ability. Like, you can do anything, but no, we don't want to do that. That would be a CG camera. So you have to decide, like, how would I have shot this if I was going to shoot it in the real world? Would I be in a helicopter? Would I be on like a crane? Would I be in another car with a camera outside the window, on the road on a tripod, running, next to the car? Like, how did it happen? Like, what's the truth in this shot? So once you find the truth, then we can create the shot and create that motif, that we're going for.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh no! Oh no!
This
is bad. This is bad.
One last question: What do you like more, working on video games or on movies, or it's different?
I actually prefer working in video games now. So I mean, it's so different. It's so exciting. Everything changes so fast. And in terms of like where you are, kind of on the creative edge of technology, we're always kind of on the bleeding edge. Always, bringing in new technology. And it's also really interesting because you have story at so many different levels in a video game. I mean, yes, it's interactive. So at some level, the player is making their own story. But you've got the narrative story, you've got the gameplay story, you've got the story through the VO and the voiceover, and then you've got the multiplayer story that happens when they go online. So there's so many different possibilities. I think we just begun to tap the possibilities in next gen in terms of story in video games. And I think in some ways people have gone maybe down the wrong road, and they sacrificed gameplay with a little too much story. And I think that with consoles like Wii coming out with all these great, fun, low-tech, low-res games, people are realizing that it's a lot more than great graphics, right? It's a lot more than some incredible FMVs in the middle of the game. It's about the gameplay experience and about how you can inject story seamlessly in all these different channels through that to make it like an overall experience. And something that you can take online, and something you can take multiplayer, something that kind of builds sort of like a synergy. And you're seeing a lot of games come out now along with movies. So there's a couple in development right now, which I think is really exciting, because in some ways you can have a prequel, which is the game, and the movie, which is like the story, which would be the second part of the story, and then you can have the third game. The third game can come out as the finale in it. So you basically got a story that travels through a comic book, a movie, and a video game. Awesome. That's Dead Space. So yeah.
Here we go. I think I got the lead.
Whoa.
Jesus.
What is the thing that you would like to tell gamers that is like your favorite part of Need for Speed Undercover?
I would say my two favorite things on Need for Speed Undercover are the cops. This year they're bad and they don't play by the rules, and you'll see that. And the second thing is Highway Battle, which is very addictive, incredibly high speed. It's a chase on a highway, and you basically have to get a certain distance from your opponent, but you have to be weaving through, different densities of traffic. So you get going to be going incredible speeds, and you can choose different tactics: weaving through cars, or staying on the inside lane. Where the ambulances travel on the highway. You can be there, but once in a while the highway will cut in, so you can't always be there. You're going to smash into the wall. So it's just really addictive, because you're picking holes, very far ahead in the traffic pattern, and there's terrific audio, and when you get close to a car, you feel the feedback on the controller. So but you look down at your hand and you're white knuckling all the way through the race. It's beautiful.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you, and well, enjoy your stay in Mexico for the rest.
¿Qué creen? Estamos ahorita con una de los sobrevivientes del avionazo aquí en Reforma. Adriana, cuéntanos cómo estuvo.
Pues yo iba sobre mi coche, lo vi pasar el avión, luego fue la explosión. No estaba segura si había explotado el avión o algún otro artefacto, porque me surgió la duda si pudieron haber lanzado una bomba desde un edificio. Venía saliendo de un paso a desnivel, pasa la explosión, salgo del paso de desnivel y fue cuando ya vi todo incendiado, humo, llamas altísimas y me fui, escapé.
¿Fue impactante para ti?
Sí, sí lo fue. Más bien fue como una sensación como de incertidumbre por el ruido. Me entró así como incluso un poco de calor al coche.